In today's episode, we are talking with Kyle Van Deusen. Kyle, how are you today?
I am doing excellent. How about yourself, Lee?
I'm doing all right. It is the height of summer here in England for all of the next 3 days at least, I imagine. So I'm sweating like a pig.
I'll trade you for Texas weather.
Well, yeah, but you're used to it, so...
Yeah, you don't get used to it.
Oh, okay, good. It's good to know, because I thought I was just complaining about the 3 days of summer that we tend to get here in the UK. So, thank you for joining us for hashtag Agency Life. And we want to find out about your agency, so we're going to fire through these questions and learn all about you. So, are you ready for this?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, so first of all then, tell us the name of your agency and what it is you do.
The name of my agency is OGAL Web Design. I focus primarily on developing websites for small businesses. About half my clients are local, and the other half I work with remotely. My background's in graphic design, so I do a lot of print design and stuff like that as well.
Awesome. All right, so if your agency was to have a birthday party every single year, when is your agency's birthday?
June 9th. So you just missed my birthday party.
Just missed your birthday party.
Yeah.
And how many years old are you?
Well, official June 9th is when I left my job and did this full time. So it's been 1 year a couple weeks ago.
You're a whole
year
you're
old.
just starting to walk. Isn't
that explains the diapers.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd love to learn your setup. So we're going to go into the setup section where we're going to understand how you as a new agency are set up. And the first one would be, how many people are in your team?
You're looking at it. Just me.
Go.
I do have some subcontractors that I use on projects that might be outside of my expertise. So I do rely on some people like that. But for the most part, I handle all the work myself.
And you're starting as you mean to go on. You're looking at growing an agency. So you are starting with the agency mindset, which I think is freaking awesome. So next question. And I see that certificate in the background on the video for anyone who's watching video. Look at that. That looks pretty darn impressive.
Good thing you can't read it.
No, I can't read it. Probably one of those eBay ones, isn't it? So question is, do you have an office or are you more of a virtual setup? So for example, is it a physical office where your contractors will come to you, or are you more of a virtual setup? So maybe based at home and communicate via the web?
Yeah, I'm based at home. I really like that setup. I like that I can get up early in the morning and get to work if I need to, or if I need to check out for 10 minutes, I can walk in the other room and see my family. So that's super nice. I usually just go meet clients in public spaces. My wife has an office for her business, so sometimes I use that if I need to, but it's maybe 1 or 2 times a week that I go see somebody in person. It's not real often.
Yeah. Now, every now and again during this, we will slightly diverge just for something of interest. And my first point of interest here is, how do you manage to switch off from business inside of a home office with the temptation of sitting there working all night?
Yeah, it's hard for me to turn it off. I love what I do, so it makes it real easy to sit in front of this computer for 12 straight hours. So luckily I have a family that will come interrupt me quite a bit and get me back to doing some family things. So I try my best to not be in here on the weekends.
Yeah.
And, shut it off by 5 or 6 in the evening and do stuff with the family. But the freedom I have is, some days I might work till 7 or 8 o'clock at night, but some days I might check out at noon, go out to lunch and take the kids to the park or something, for a couple hours during the middle of the day for no reason at all. So, eventually you kind of find a balance that works for you. For me, I wish I could probably get another hour or 2 of work in. And for my family, they probably wish I would pull back another hour or 2.
Yeah.
We land somewhere in the middle.
But I think it's beautiful that you get to go to park midday for 2 hours for no reason at all. And that is every reason, because you're building memories with your family. And that is freaking awesome and very admirable. Now, you are a new business, so you're a year old and you've yet to grow a full team, although you do have a team, as it were, of at least contractors. So just like any big company or big agency, I assume that you have some form of culture that you have at least internally, but something that you have a vision for your culture as well as your business grows. Could you describe what that might be?
Yeah, I worked for some large companies where things were pretty corporate and strict and rigid, and it's not really my personality to be that way. I'm a hard worker. I like to get a lot of work done. I take what I do seriously, but if people aren't enjoying what they're doing, they're not going to produce really great results. So for me, it's important, and I think I've aligned with some contractors this way that we get along on a personal level.
Mm,
I think that's pretty important as long as they can, achieve the quality of work you're looking for. But when you can kind of have the camaraderie with your teammates, I think it shows in your work. When you have a passion for what you do, it comes out a whole lot better. So for me, I want to find people that are passionate about the work they do, but it's not so much a job for them. They enjoy what they're doing.
absolutely. They enjoy what they're doing, and they've also got the freedom to have a balanced life. And I like
Sure.
the fact that you have that relationship where you can at least get on with them as well, the banter, etc. Now, for your clients, so that's kind of your mission for your internal company, as it were, and the growth and the development of your team. But for your clients, what is the main problem that you feel you solve?
Well, I think for the most part, most of the clients I work with are fairly small, medium-sized businesses that don't have any sort of marketing department. So they have a lot of people doing DIY marketing efforts where the business owner is coming up with copy for an ad and sending it off to a newspaper that's throwing something together and it looks shady,
Yeah.
or they've built a website themselves and it's a hot mess. So I try to partner with companies that are looking to really streamline that process and make themselves look more legitimate. Most of the times they are legitimate businesses doing good work, producing results for their clients,
Hmm.
but they're not positioning themselves that way. So with my background in graphic design and branding and stuff like that, I think being able to streamline that whole marketing operation for them and give them something that's more solid and a better representation of their company is what I offer best to my clients.
And with this service, with this problem that you are solving, is there a particular type of business? Do you have an industry or a niche that you align yourself with?
That's something I'm definitely interested in. But you hear a lot of people giving great advice about niching down to
Hmm.
different things. For me, it's something that I want to keep in mind. But I think my business is so young right now. I don't know well enough which industries I fit in best
Yeah,
with. You kind of have to get through all of them to see what works and what doesn't work. Um,
absolutely.
so I'm still in that process, but I'm open to finding that right fit. I just hadn't settled on anything yet.
And remember, there are two types of niche as well. There is a service niche where you're doing the same thing. It might be for many different people, but you're really good at that one thing. And you do that for several different industries. But the messaging and the problem that you're solving is like a global problem for all of those people. And then you also have the actual industry niche. And that may happen over the next few months and years as you find you work with more and more maybe travel companies. And then you realize
Right,
what I don't know about travel companies is not worth knowing. I am going to be OGAL Web, the travel designer or whatever.
right.
So, but that all will definitely come in time, and we're going to be lifelong friends, buddy. So I'm looking forward to that and finding out what happens there as well with you. So. Marketing, it's a big thing for a lot of us agencies. You're a very new agency as well, so it's incredibly important. How are you generating leads for your business?
So the customers that I work with here locally, a lot of that just comes through SEO and networking. So I've done a fairly good job of positioning my website to rank well in the small town I live in. So I do get calls, every week, a few every week from people around here. Not all those people are willing to spend money, but
Mhm.
they're making phone calls. And then I've been a part of a lot of networking groups, Chamber of Commerce, stuff like that, just getting out and meeting people. So I just recently moved to a new town about 2 hours from where I lived before. My old town, I knew most of the people in the town and the business owners and all
Yeah.
that. So I'm kind of having to start over at this point. But just trying to get out and meet people, get them to know, like, and trust me, and then I can sell to them later.
I get it. And you still have as well a predominant amount of people online as well. And presumably you can still serve the customers you left behind in on the old location. But sounds like to me you're a glutton for punishment, brand new company, get to know everyone, and then move 2 hours away.
Yeah,
Although,
exactly.
man, you're in America, 2 hours away is just down the road, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Especially in Texas.
Okay, here in England, that is like a day trip.
Right.
And you have
Yeah.
to plan 6 months ahead.
The other thing, and I've told my wife this, she's not on Facebook, so she doesn't get all the time spent on Facebook. But
Yeah.
I've come to her many times and said, you know what, I hadn't wasted 1 minute on Facebook, because it's not
Amen.
that I've been on there selling things to people, but I've been on there helping people out or talking to people through problems or whatever it may be. And down the road, they hit me up and they need something done. So it's amazing that just being a part of that network, it kind of grows your profile, and eventually you can get some work out of that as well.
That is 100% true. Something that we recommend agencies do, which is networking online. You don't just have to go to the physical locations, but networking online. We as an agency have quoted on 2 leads that came in via Facebook Messenger, of all places, from 2 completely different people, someone in Germany, someone in the UK, and we've already been quoting as well as one in San Francisco as well. So we've got all of these different opportunities coming in all the time, like you, because of networking. So definitely recommend, if you're not part of a network, then be sure to check out our free Facebook group, which is over on agencytrailblazer.com/group. That's a great place to be. And obviously, Facebook is the reason that me and Kyle are also good friends. Kyle, in your business, how do you measure success?
Well, number one, I want to still enjoy what I'm doing. So when I left my full-time job, I hated everything about it. So that was a big motivating factor of starting my own business. So when I can end the day in a good mood and enjoying what I do, that's success right there. Good moods don't pay the bills. So I've
True.
set up a lot of benchmarks on what I need to bring in every month, trying to grow monthly recurring revenue to a point where that's stable to cover the bills. So I'll feel a little bit more successful when I know that every month I'm already billing out enough to cover everything, but I'm working on that.
I would argue that 2 hours with your kids at lunchtime is already a humongously amazing measure of success. And I think one that a lot of people would aspire to. So grab onto things like that and be encouraged, mate, because that is so awesome. And I would agree with you. My measure of success is not necessarily the dollars in the bank, although they're important, because you would be stressed if you didn't have enough of them. But if there are enough to have that time with the family, we've got this mantra of together is our favorite place to be as a family. So absolutely, I'm with you 100%. Now let's get into Confession Corner, because there's only me and you and maybe a few thousand other listeners.
Sure.
And it would be really good to know, if you could be honest with us, what is the biggest problem that you feel you have as a agency?
I think the biggest problem that I struggle with, like just in my own mind, is just having a ton of self-doubt and feeling like I'm faking all of this, So when I see, if I step back and look from a year ago at where I am now, I think I'd be super excited and proud of where I've gotten to in a year. But, day to day, sometimes I'm just, really wondering if I'm good enough to do some of these things. So, you always compare your work to other people's work. You compare your pricing, you compare, lifestyles, and you see other people with their nice cars and boats and all those kinds of things. So, sometimes you have some self-doubt that you're doing all that you can. So I do struggle with that, but you kind of have to look at that big picture and step back from a little bit and say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I'm certainly making progress every day. But that's something I have to remind myself of pretty regularly.
Absolutely. And comparison is always a killer, isn't it? In any type of business, but in agency life, comparing ourselves to other agency owners, seeing those advertisements as well, saying, look at me working from the beach. And that can be really destroying when you feel like, oh man, I'm just sat here in my office at home, or I'm sat here in my hot office that I'm paying too much rent for down there. Whatever it is, it can be really depressing. But I often have to remind myself that a lot of these pictures are actually stock photographs, or they've just found the right angle to make the picture look great. But actually there's it's an old, maybe it's even an old picture of from holiday from maybe last
Right.
year, or because I'm not saying that people lie on the internet, but I'm also saying that people lie on the internet. So
Sure.
it's hard not to compare, but let's try not to. And I'm with you 100%. I'm still jealous though, and I'm trying not to compare myself, mate, with your 2 hours with the kids. I totally want to do that, and that is now a mission of mine to
Absolutely.
do. Now, well-being is really important to an agency owner. It's your mental health, your physical health, etc. And I'd be interested. 2 questions for you. First of all, how do you personally switch off?
It's hard. It's hard when you work from home, because you're always at work and you're never at work, and you're always at home but you're never at home. So when work and home are the same place, it's hard to make that switch. One thing I did recently was take the email notifications off my phone.
Good plan.
So when I'm sitting in front of my computer, they come up on my computer, I can handle them. But when I walk away from my computer, it kind of helps me step away from work. So even if I'm just on the couch watching TV with the kids, if my phone dings and I know it's a work email, I know I'm going to pick it up, and I know I'm going to have to stop what I'm doing and go respond to this email. Even if it's, 10 o'clock at night, I'm still going to do it. So that's been one little, trick that's helped me quite a bit, is just turning that off. So I don't even have to think about it. But my family, they keep me accountable. The kids will come in and start bugging me when they know I've been gone too long. So
Yes.
They're good at doing that.
I can imagine that as well. I'm just thinking of my daughter doing the same, and then that guilty feeling that if I don't respond, then I'm a terrible human being.
Right.
How do you stay healthy? Because we're chained to our desks a lot of the time. So how do you keep healthy?
Yeah, I probably could do a better job at that.
Same here.
Yeah, so I eat too much fast food and I sit in a chair a lot.
Okay.
But here, since we made
real.
the move, yeah, the struggle is real. Since we made the move, the new town we live in has a big, beautiful YMCA with a pool and a gym and all this kind of stuff. And the kids love going there. So we got memberships there, and I've been trying to get there 3 or 4 days a week. Sometimes it's to work out, sometimes it's go play in the pool with the kids. But either way, at least it's, some sort of, getting out of my office chair and doing something. But I could certainly do better on that.
I could certainly do better too. And I've heard a lot of advice recently, even just going for a regular walk, even if it's a 10-minute walk a day. That's something that I would love the community to hold me accountable to, for a 10-minute walk, because it mentally as well, with regards to getting out of your head, getting out of the office environment, but also just a physical 10-minute walk doesn't sound like much, but I guess it builds up over time.
Sure.
So yeah, I would agree with that one wholeheartedly. So the last section, which is tools. You're a new agency. I imagine, therefore, you've had a lot of tools you have tried and tested to try and work out what is the best. I know
Sure.
AppSumo is constantly tempting me and my wallet with mainly junk, and then you now and again find the absolute amazing program.
Right.
So could you share one tool with the community that has been massively helpful to your agency's success?
Just one, huh?
You got to pick one.
I would say the thing that's probably helped me the most, but I'm still not great at always utilizing, is Better Proposals.
Okay.
I hate the thought of even sitting down to write a proposal. I rather wing everything. I had the conversation with the client. They know what I'm talking about. Let's just start building something. But having that framework, you can have so many things already laid out for you. You can do it a whole lot quicker. And it's saved my butt more times than I can count when a customer came back and didn't understand the scope of a project or the terms of a project. And I can go back and remind them, hey, here's the proposal that you signed. That tool's been awesome.
Absolutely. And we did an episode, actually, Kyle, if you've not listened to it, mate.
I already listened.
Okay. So when you come to write the proposal, I was trying to find the episode number, but I'll just put it in the notes instead. Adam talks about when you've had the meeting and you know what it is in your head that they want, to write the proposal there and then whilst it's fresh, which means you're not putting it off for hours and it gets done.
I can tie this all into a nice bow for you. So the other day I was at the gym working out, listening to that episode of the podcast, and had a meeting with the client later that day. Went to the meeting with the client. I didn't stay in the place and write the proposal, but I came immediately home, wrote the proposal, sent it off to him immediately, got it signed that day.
Perfect.
Yep.
We've got to tell Adam about that, and
I
I'll
know.
make sure I put that episode in the show notes because that was a really highly valuable episode, and it's one that I've been taking the advice of ever since.
Yeah.
Mate, you have been awesome. It's been amazing to learn about your agency, and I'm looking forward to talking to you in a year's time to see how much has changed, maybe if you found that niche, etc. So all that is left for me to ask, is how can people connect with you, and then we will say goodbye.
Well, you can find me on Facebook. If you can spell my name, you can find me. Good luck with that.
Go on.
But I'm in the WP Innovator Group, as well as plenty of others. Or you can visit my website, OGALWeb, OGALWEB.com. Instagram, probably the same. I don't know. I don't check that a lot. So,
Alrighty. Mate, thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.
thank you.